What's poppin', T Squad? It's me, Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's All Tea, All Shade Growing Up Hip Hop Season 6, Episode 23 review. Alright, so get into tonight's episode. We start off with Cree meeting up with her biological father, Luke, from 2 Live Crew in the park. They sit down on a park bench and she tells him what happened between her and Sakoya at Twist I Ain't Gotta Go to Jail event, and that she blacked out on her. Luke says, it seems like you got a short fuse like me. You look like me and you got a short fuse like me. So Cree in her confession was like, it was triggering because I'm potentially having issues with my fertility journey. She says that she doesn't feel comfortable telling Luke about it and yet or whatever. And that's understandable because they don't have, the closest relationship. Cree says that she's going to talk to Sakoya and apologize, but she needs to watch what she says to people. And like I said on last week's review, it wouldn't have triggered you what she said if you wouldn't have put yourself in the middle of a situation that had nothing to do with you. You brought all of this on yourself. Whatever issue Sakoya and Tanise had, or Sakoya and Angela had, was between them. It had nothing to do with you. And if you wouldn't have put yourself in their business, you wouldn't have been triggered. So you brought all of this on to yourself. So blame yourself. Don't blame Sakoya. Blame you. So Sakoya is at the studio, and the song that they were playing of hers sounded actually really, really good. Sakoya is so pretty to me. She's a cute little thing. Brianna swings by the studio and asks her what happened between her, Cree, and Savannah at Twist party. Sakoya was like, I'm trying to figure out why the Gross sisters from the Proud family is mad at me. Child, when she said that, I cracked up laughing because that was a good one. But what I'm noticing is about Sakoya is she say little shit, and then when she's called out about it, she likes to downplay it or backtrack. Like, I agree with Cree on your mouth is what gets you in trouble. I agree with her on that. But that was a very good Joan. So Brianna tells her that she heard she had beef with Tanise and didn't want to fuck with her initially because of that too as well, because Tanise don't bother nobody. But that when she saw Sakoya at Twist party, she didn't seem like the messy type. Sakoya says that she overreacted with Tanise and needs to apologize. Now let me backtrack a little bit. The way Brianna handled Sakoya is the way that Cree should have handled Sakoya. I heard what happened. It left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't want to fuck with you. Let that just be that. She didn't try to fight her. She didn't try to fight Tanise's battles. It's just, I've heard this about you. It doesn't make me feel comfortable enough to even want to fuck with you like that. So I'm just not going to fuck with you, period. That's how you handle things as an adult, people. Sakoya most definitely owes Tanise an apology for overreacting, and Tanise needs to take responsibility for the fact that she allowed herself to turn up with somebody knowing that she was 4 months pregnant and high risk. So everything ain't all on Sakoya, because like, you don't have to engage, period. Like, I'm not even about to go there with you. I'm 4 months pregnant. I'm high risk. I see you on some other shit. Let me just remove myself. It ain't about me looking like I'm a punk or you punking me and no shit like this. It's about me being a grown ass adult and putting my priorities ahead of some ignorant ass mess. So Sakoya tells Brianna that Savannah is messy and started all of this stuff, and that she felt she needed to take up for Tanise. I won't say that Savannah started all of this. I will say that Savannah kept it messy by going back and telling people what she said in the studio, but she wouldn't have had nothing to say if you wouldn't have said what you said in the studio, Sakoya. So I went back and I went on YouTube and found the clip when Savannah and Sakoya were in the studio and the whole Angela conversation came up. I also went back on YouTube tonight and watched the clip between Sakoya and Tanise when they got in it. And I'm just going to play the audio. Hopefully this don't get copyrighted or no shit like that. But this is what Sakoya had to say when the Angela situation came up.
Is Angela gonna be at the showcase? Yeah, I think everybody's gonna be there. She cool as though. Like Angela's mad cool. Mm-hmm. She's don't do that. Yeah, I don't know.
That was the first shade. I don't know. Like, you already in that statement made it seem like you had an issue with her, with the way that you reacted when her name was brought up. That's the first thing. Don't act like it just came out of Savannah's ass that you had an issue with with Angela, and she just lied on you. You made a face. You was like, I don't know, rubbing them orange braids, girl. Let's keep it a buck. You made it an issue. Then you said this in your confessional.
At the time when Angela was dating my son's father, I had just literally had my little guy. And I kind of felt like I definitely still had feelings for him, possibly wanting to have our family together. But at the time, she probably wasn't even thinking about that. It's gonna be.
Now, it does seem to me like that was cut and pasted. But you made it seem like your first season on the show, and that's why everybody went in on you on social media, that you felt some type of way about Angela dating your baby daddy because y'all had a baby together and you still wanted to be with him and you wanted to be a family. And the way they portrayed it on the show was like you felt like she shouldn't have been dating him because y'all had a son together, which was fucking idiotic. But you did that. And then you had this to say in your confessional.
Angela was dating my son's father.
I'm sorry, wrong tape.
If Angela doesn't know who Sakoya Winter is, she's definitely gonna find out.
Like, girl, you act like you was rowdy, rowdy. Like, you act like you was a part of, like a no limit soldier or some shit. Like, don't try to act like this just was some shit that Savannah made up in her head. You had all the smoke your first season for Angela and you came in hot. And now this season you trying to backtrack, like I just said, and act like you didn't have that kind of energy. No, you let the producers hype you up for that to be your storyline. It backfired on you, and now you're coming back season 2 trying to be humble, trying to be sweet, so you can gain the likeness of the viewers and rectify all the chaos that you started last season with your mouth. So let's not act like people just crazy, Sakoya. Like, come on now, stop it with the foolishness. Now let's get back to the episode. So Sakoya says, I came to make things cooler, and she's still trying to be all ratchet. She came over like, you good? Bitch, who are you talking to? Cree just jumps on the bandwagon. And once again, like, you acting all rah-rah, all brolic, telling some bitch who you talking to. We didn't see you have that energy when Savannah was in your face, love. It was sitting there on meek, on pause. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you did come there to make things, better. But when she was coming at you with pressure, you didn't have nothing to give back. So I do agree that Cree did jump on the whole bandwagon, and Cree involved herself in something that she didn't have no business involving herself in, and she made herself look quite foolish. So Brianna invites her to meet TT and Vanessa. Sakoya was like, yeah, I do want to meet Vanessa so I can, it's like explain myself about the whole Angela situation with her. And Brianna was like, oh shit, I forgot. Like, she didn't even make the connection about, that whole situation. So Eric visits Sam at the gym as he's boxing, child. Sam tries to take every moment to remind us that he is hard. Child. So then Sam tells him that, some security guards came at him, talking shit, calling him gay, this, that, and the third, light-skinned, gay-ass nigga. When him and what's the little child named Egypt was out together one night, the security guard dudes ended up fighting his friend, and then they came charging at him with a gun. So then he pulled out his gun, but he didn't shoot. They jumped him and then took him to jail. So now he's facing 4 counts and 10 to 15 years in prison. Child, all this because you trying to prove to the streets and to we TV and the viewers that you hard. Boy, you so foolish. So he says that Egypt doesn't know about the fact that he might have to serve all them years. So Eric was like, the biggest thing that hurt me when I was away for that year was being away from my kids, stop all this tough shit. He tries to really give him, advice, and basically tell him to simmer the fuck down, girl, because when you go to jail, they are going to use you like booty meat. So Sam was like, my goal is for justice to be served. I didn't assault anybody. I don't believe him. I don't believe him. I do believe that Sam is somehow guilty in this, and I will explain my thoughts on that a little bit later. So it's girls' night, and Brianna brings out her entire aromatherapy collection. I'm like, this is what you had to contribute? You bringing shit from home? So she brings up Sakoya and that she likes her to Vanessa and to TT. Vanessa was like, I just heard she had issues with my family. Brianna was like, sometimes shit just look a little funny and you thought you came with a friend and found out it was Savannah. So seems like Brianna does not really care for Savannah and thinks that Savannah is fake. So she was like, well, let me go get this girl. And Vanessa was like, oh, she heard? Like, oh, shit. So Sakoya walks in, loved her outfit. I must say that I'm really feeling Sakoya's style. I like the way she come dressed. Her face always be beat, hair always done. Loving the way that she looks. It's hella awkward for Vanessa off rip. And so she was like, just tell me what happened from your perspective. Sakoya was like, I had no idea Tanise was pregnant. Okay, remember that was something that I needed to be clarified. Did she know this girl was pregnant or did she not know the girl was pregnant? But then a part of me don't even know if I can trust what Sakoya says because, like I said, I feel like Sakoya is a flip-flopper. So she was like, that was my first time meeting her. I don't have a problem with your sister, and I don't know how it got to. Once again, I just played y'all the audio. We all know how it got to where it got to. It got to where it got to because of your goddamn mouth. So, she says that, I told JoJo I overreacted and that I wanted to talk to Tanise or whatever. Vanessa was like, I would love for you to talk, because your energy is totally different from what I heard. And she compliments her and tells her that she's pretty. Sakoya then goes on to say that Cree and Savannah, they're big bullies. They weren't even trying to hear what I had to say. They were just like, I want to fight you because you had a problem with Tanise. I want to talk to Cree to hash things out. I would love to sit down with Angela and Tanise if you can tell them that. I do agree with her that day at Twist Party, Cree and Savannah, from what we saw, did come across looking like some bullies. Savannah, like I said, is Savannah. She's still young. She got a lot of growing up to do, but I was very disappointed in what I saw from Cree because you're a 30-year-old woman sitting up here running around trying to fight folks on television and you ain't even have no skin in the game. You just look foolish. So, Vanessa was like, I'll tell them, I see what happens. So TT and Sean are at the crib looking at invitations for their wedding, and he don't really like the way they looking, and it's very strained between them. This wedding is really wearing them down, and Sean feels like the wedding is all about her and not about them. TT says that he hasn't had any input on this whole thing except for a few things, and now that we're getting close to the wire, now he want to say he got, he want this, that, and the third or whatever. So it just seemed to me like these niggas don't even need to be getting married in the first place. Like they still got issues that need to be sorted out. So Sean was like, what are you going to do about Tyran? Apparently Tyran is not vaccinated, nor does he want to be vaccinated. And certain members of their families on both sides don't want to even come if he comes because they are fearful of getting COVID. Tyran then shows up and they won't even let him in the house because he's not vaccinated. This nigga gotta pee and pees behind a fucking tree. Like, nigga, it is not that damn deep. Like, I would have filmed that day. Fuck that, bitch. Can we just talk on the phone? FaceTime? So they sit outside and talk, and TT was telling him, they auntie and their grandmamas and them don't even fucking want to come because, they're elderly and they're fearful of getting sick, which is, a valid reason. And he still refuses to get vaccinated. She was like, even though you're going to miss the one and only day that I'm going to get married, you're still not going to get vaccinated. Like, I'm trying to figure out all these different ways to get you there. I'm taking I'm going back on my word, even though I've told, Sean's family and other members of our family that they got to get vaccinated or they can't come. But I'm sitting up here trying to make, a way for you to come and you still not going to do it. He says that he not going to do it. At that point, okay, nigga, I don't know what else to say to you. Sometimes somebody will FaceTime, you'll see it on the show. I don't know what to tell you. So Cree meets with Sakoya. They have a sit down. I loved Cree's Versace shirt and I love Sakoya's black and white checkerboard outfit. I need that in my closet. So Cree was like, twist party. That wasn't me at all. I never want to exude violence to anyone. I invited you here so we can get past our, issues. When you mentioned motherhood, I blacked out. So Coy was like, before you blacked out, I felt like you were trying to tell me something when you said Savannah can say such and such about your kid. Like, no. Cree was like, I didn't hear what she said. I didn't hear exactly what she said. So if you didn't hear exactly what she said, girl, then how you gonna sit up here and tell this girl that you can't feel no type of way if somebody bring up your kid when you don't even know to the extent of what she said? See, this is what I'm talking about. You should have just sat down with your cat suit on and ate a pig in a blanket, had a sun kiss or a goddamn fruit roll up, and just minded your goddamn business. Like, cause this don't even make no fucking sense. So Cree was like, from your and Savannah conversation was that you had an issue with Angela. At that moment, I was letting you know that you brought your son into this equation from the get-go. Sakoya didn't inhale because she like, okay, girl, you bringing up my son again and telling me that I'm in the wrong. I think last week I said that Cree was right about the fact that she did bring her son into this from the beginning. But then when I thought about it a little bit more tonight, I changed my mind on that. She didn't bring her son into the equation. She brought her baby daddy into the equation. It didn't have anything to do with her son. It had to do with her baby daddy. So I disagree with Cree on that. Sakoya brought her nigga or her baby daddy or whatever into this issue, not her son or whatever. So I take that back. So Cree was like, the feedback I received after that was that me and Savannah were upset at you because you're pretty. Now, based off my interview with Cree and based off what we saw in tonight's episode, I don't think that Brianna went back and told them that. So obviously production went back and told them that to further start drama. Like I said, production is the real motherfucking villain of the goddamn show. So you can tell by the look on her face like, wow, like production has sold me the fuck out. So Koya is starting to see the game and how it is played and how these people are not your fucking friend when it comes to production. So she was like, Cree was like, I feel like sometimes red girls, light-skinned girls feel like they're superior to us dark-skinned girls. So something like that can trigger someone. Sakoya didn't ask to take a breather because she says that, she's been bullied in the past and she would never say that about anybody or whatever. And I'm just looking at Cree like, what is this girl light skinned or red bone? Like, she just a notch up as far as skin color than you. Like, I don't think skin color had anything to do with it. I felt like Cree was projecting with that. That's some own issues that she might have within herself. I don't know. But y'all ain't that different in skin tone to me. Now, the fact that Sakoya was like, I do think that they might not like me because I'm pretty, because other than that, or being jealous, because what other things do they have to have an issue with me? I did feel like that was a reach. That was just some petty, stupid little shit that you say when you, in your bag or whatever. Oh, they must like me, not like me because I'm cute, I'm fresh to death. That's just some flexing shit or whatever. It was childish too as well. So Sakoya, once she finally gets herself together, says, I don't have any issue with Angela, and I never said that to Savannah. So whatever she said was a lie. I said she dated my baby father, and it probably would be uncomfortable, and I would never say that about your skin color, this, that, and the third. Once again, Sakoya, you're lying. So Cree was like, imagine if you have a group of friends, and it seems like I'm coming in and attacking all your friends. How can you be like, oh, you guys, I'm going to hang out with her? Once again, how I feel about that statement is during this time of when this whole situation happened last season with Sakoya and Tanise and Angela, you hadn't even known them girls that long for them to be called, for you to be calling them your friends and to be sitting up here trying to fight their battles and to be sitting up here saying I can't be cool with somebody because they ain't cool with this person. You ain't even friends with them like that, girl. What the fuck? You barely know these folks. Like, y'all be calling people y'all friends too fast for me. So uh I feel like we grown. I can be friends with whoever the fuck I want to be friends with. She ain't did shit to me. Like, the fuck is going on here? So Sakoya denies attacking Tanise and says that she and Savannah will have to figure out their issues down the line because it goes deeper between them two. And at this point I would agree on that. I don't even know if they're gonna be able to ever make amends. So then we go to Pepa and Egypt, aka Mr. T. They at the bar fixing drinks and shit. I must say that Pepa looks really good this season. I don't know if something has been done to her face, but she looked refreshed. She looked normal again in the face for some reason. Her daughter, on the other hand, is looking more and more like the nigga, like I said, that Sam wants her to be. Like, all she needs to go do is just continue to exercise at Planet Fitness and bulk up and baby and put a strap on, and her and Sam will be out of here. So Sam comes in there all moping and stuff and saying his life falling apart after talking to the lawyer, and then he informs them about the prosecution trying to get him 10 to 12 years. And Egypt in her confession was like, I'm going to stay loyal to this man. I will wait for him. I'm going to stick beside him, honey. Y'all got me fucked up. I ride or die, bitch. Ride or motherfucking die. And I'm like, girl, you go right ahead, bitch. You go right ahead and be his prison pen pal. Because meanwhile, you sitting up here taking all the collect calls and writing him letters and sending him kites and shit and coming up there to visit him. He going to be fucking Daquan in the cellmate. Right? In the cell right next to his ass, girl. Goodbye. So, we ain't waiting no nigga in no motherfucking jail. Girl, please. So Sam was like, according to all four of those people, I assaulted them with a deadly weapon. Here come Egypt lying ass Thomas. No, no, you didn't. She couldn't even lie right. You can tell when Egypt lying because her face gets really nervous and she kind of stutters. I was looking at her like, girl, you are lying for this nigga. You are lying. And she was trying to remember up the lie they came up with. So then this sounded really sketchy to me. She says, I'm sorry you have been going through all of this. That night we were just minding our own business. But it was the way she said it, like, I'm sorry you're going through all this. Like, it would have been, you ain't do this shit. Them motherfuckers is lying on you. Da 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 da. It just didn't even seem genuine and authentic. She know that nigga did some shit he ain't had no business doing, and she trying to be his ride or die, trying to be the Billy to his Bob. Girl, all right. So Pepper then asked to speak to Sam one-on-one. Sam was like, when you say you'll kill me, I don't want to be a dead rapper or a person that didn't take that seriously. Sir, you're not an artist. You should have just left the dead rapper part out and just said, a dead person that didn't take it seriously. Okay, that I can roll with. So this nigga really wants to be the next Little Zane for some reason. So Pepper was like, I said it to y'all over and over that you got to stop the emotions with these people. And even Pepper's reaction is like, I've been telling y'all to sit y'all asses down somewhere and y'all ain't want to motherfucking listen, and now y'all got to go through this. That's why I don't believe them. I do believe that Sam turned up that night. And maybe this will be the wake-up call that he needs to do, that he needs to go sit his ass the fuck down somewhere. So Sam was like, can you just make sure that she chased her shit and don't try to wait on me? Child, you know damn well you want her to wait on you, because you're going to need somebody to put money on your books so you can get you some top ramen. Boy, sit down somewhere. So that was my review of Growing Up Hip Hop. Let me know what y'all thought about tonight's episode down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like, and subscribe. Overall, I give tonight's episode a B plus. A B plus. Let me know what you guys thought. Once again, I love you, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.